Welcome back to the Overwatch League. In honor of the Dallas homestand, let's take a look back at some of the best moments in Dallas Fuel history. Number 5. Dallas crushes Toronto on Rialto in record time.
But now Bomb in from Note looking for a pick. Yakpung has to keep the shield up, which means he gets beaten and battered by the rest of the Dallas Fuel as they continue to glide in. 3:50 remaining on the clock. Going to be stopped 1.7 meters away, and that will just be it.
That's no Vancouver Titans record time, but it is a great one. Nearly 4 minutes on the clock.
Number 4. Mickey takes home the first ever Dennis Havelko Award.
If I'm not happy, if I'm sad, like the people who watch me, they're gonna be sad. And I don't want that. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to be emotional in front of the camera, of course. So yeah, basically like I'm very happy like to get this award, and this is remind me a lot of memories.
Number 3. The Dallas Fuel make their first ever stage playoffs.
Well, the tanks are dead for New York. Saviobi as well, showing everybody falling on New York's side. It's a wipeout. Clean as you like, clean as could be. Dallas Fuel picking up all 3 points on Kings.
Number 2. The Dallas Fuel spoil Valiant's perfect stage.
Barry up, gonna gun him down. Biggie with the stun on space as well. 3 guys waiting in the corner here for Valiant, trying to hang in there, trying to put up the fight, trying to stagger for as long as possible. Fate goes primal, but he's getting focused down so ruthlessly here with the Discord Orb. He just soaks damage, the stun, and that's it. They will succeed. Dallas Fuel with the win, 3-1 over Los Angeles Valiant.
They get to play spoiler to the Valiant's perfect stage.
Number 1. Dallas picks up its first win of the 2019 season.
This one's about to get spicy. Zachary sitting in the back of the payload. OG's there. J-Hog's the first casualty. Fisher the second. EMP coming out. And the Dallas Fuel sent the Dynasty up in flames. And that's what we call perfect combustion.
Really strong series from both of these teams tonight to end it, Mitch. Dallas just showed their potential, what they've been working on in the offseason. Pays off here in their match against Seoul.
You guys are going against Dallas Fuel in Dallas. How excited are you guys to see 5,000 screaming Fuel fans?
Not excited at all. We're very scared.
I hope you guys are scared. I feel like you guys have had this home court advantage for so long. You've been at the stadium in Los Angeles for so long. It's time for you guys to branch out.
We will have our fans, so maybe they should be scared. When I went first time to Dallas, their energy was really super strong.
Definitely most interested in meeting the fans for Dallas. I'm really hoping that they can kind of view me as one of their own.
I enjoyed Texas food. I ate Texas BBQ. I didn't like it. I don't know, just KBBQ is so much better.
Cut the feed.
Houston Outlaws have a very loud and very proud fan base here.
Houston fans, they might outshout the Dallas fans in pitch only, but I've got a feeling the Dallas fans will be louder overall.
Are you guys ready for the Battle of Texas?
I mean, right now, I don't think Houston is really good team.
First shot fired in the battle for the Lone Star State.
We welcome you guys with open arms to our arena, but we're not going to hold anything back.
I think just you guys should be ready for our crowd. I mean, if you guys come to our house, you guys follow our rules, so just be ready.
Bring it on.
I think you're getting the impression that something big is going down.
We're coming to Texas, baby!
That is filthy, dude.
They can tussle with the very best.
And Paris just looks unstoppable.
You can't ask for a better story.
Shoyu Hunters absolutely dominant now.
And they've actually done it!
The Hangzhou Spark, unbelievable!
They make it look easy!
I can't wait to get this started, man.
I can't believe this has happened!
It's time to get this party started!
It is a good day for some Overwatch, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Dallas homestand weekend here at the Allen Event Center. And it's just starting to get heated up, and I'm pretty sure you know exactly what I mean. It is intense in here, Matt. It is packed to the rafters with many people ready to see Dallas Fuel play their very first home game of the Overwatch League.
I mean, you know, the Dallas players are getting ready on stage. The fans went absolutely nuts. I can just imagine once they start to walk out, like this place is going to explode. It reminds me so much of the grand finals last year, like the energy that was in the room of the Barclays Center, same atmosphere here.
And we're going to see much more of that now as the years roll by. I'm Mitch Leslie here with Matt Morello. Matt, let's quickly check in with our season standings right now. At least where we're looking at these two teams and trying to evaluate where they sort of sit in stage 2 first of all. And you can see the Fuel, Matt, they are on the cusp of breaking into that playoff area.
You know, them and the Valiant both sitting at 2-2. The Dallas Fuel, they need every map they can get. -3 in the map differential. So this series against the Valiant's huge for their chances at the stage 2 playoffs.
And we obviously have spent much time with our Overwatch League games in LA, and the Los Angeles Valiant got to be the home team for many of those. But we caught up with Space a little bit before this, Matt, and we asked him, how are you feeling now going into an environment like this, which is absolutely going to be hostile?
So how excited are you guys to see 5,000 screaming Fuel fans?
Not excited at all. We're very scared. Like, it's the first time we're playing against like an away crowd because we're always in LA. So it's going to be very scary, but I think the players supposed to look out for are OG and Unko. Those are like the 2 strongest players on Dallas, I feel like. So it's going to be a good experience for all of us to kind of get that away from stage experience.
We heard it straight from the man himself. Definitely a bit of nervousness coming into an arena like this, and I don't really blame the guy.
They've had it quite easy, the Valiant. You know, playing in LA, and they're always the home team. I think, you know, it's right that they come here to Dallas. They have to face off against the Fuel and this crowd.
And of course, Matt, now the team to enter their home arena for the very first time. Make some noise, Allen Event Center, for the Dallas Fuel. Leading the charge, the beating heart of the team, equal parts talent and charm, it's Mickey! And of course, not far behind at all, the original Lucio. Catch this man if you can, it's Harry Hook! And right behind him, one of our very first global Overwatch superstars, the Finnish firebrand, Tainu! And the brains of the outfit, never far from the action. Catch him on a wall near you, it's Closer! Next, the unshakable Frenchman, the unflappable flex support mastermind, Unko! The French DPS superstar, the wielder of the Iron Baguette, it's AKM! Mr. Flex extraordinaire, the master of all trades, it's Zachary! And next, the Fuel's newest secret weapon, hailing from Canada, it's Notes! And finally, bringing up the rear and bringing the primal rage, it's OG!
Yeah, you know, it's a huge moment for this team, right? Every player on the roster, you look back, you know, Harry, Taiwu, you know, it's just a crazy moment. You know, they probably never expected a few years ago to come here to Dallas, play in front of the home crowd with everybody going nuts. And the man who's screaming right here, OG, is going to be a big part of this team for the future.
I mean, it's a double whammy, right? Not only is it a huge event, fans crowded into the stadium, but also it's their home game. Yeah. They are the team to be celebrated here, and this team has come quite a long way. You can see them now make some noise for the Dallas Fuel! I had to get my Bruce Buffer on, Matt, you know, it's a big day.
You did good. On the Golden Boy scale, you're up there. I mean,
I'll take that. Again, some of these players have been here since the very beginning of the Dallas Fuel. ups and downs for this team, but right now, they're looking for a big W here to get themselves into that top 8.
Yeah, you know, Note's the newest addition to this roster. The train with Boston, Note coming over, RCK going to Boston. And I feel like Note's really solidified that diva role. You have some other players on the roster who can play Sombra, so you don't really lose as much of that flexibility as you may have thought.
And again, we've seen different looks from this roster map. We've seen them go for damage dealers, we've seen them go for tanks. I tell you what, though, their opponents definitely had to be sweating already. They're a long way from home, but make some noise for the Los Angeles Valiant. Oh, yes.
I love it. I love it.
They knew they'd be walking into this, man. Every step of the way, they knew. But the Valiant have had a rough season so far. The wins, few and far between so far from this squad.
Yeah, you know, Izyaki's been a bright spot. Same with Space. I feel like those two players, you look at this Valiant roster, that really, perform above the average in their roles. I think, you get some good games out of Fate, Ryan. Some of the DPS players start coming alive. I think this is a Valiant team that could go on a little bit of a run.
It's a question of cohesion for the Los Angeles Valiant, but even at their lowest points, no one would come out and say this team is bad or the worst. Yeah. You can see the pieces there. KSF, just saw on your screen, is a player that's been sort of moved up to that main roster now, is getting to see a little bit more action. We've seen moments from him, especially on his Widowmaker, but when it comes to playing 3-3 map, triple tank, triple support, we have to wonder where this team sits in terms of that coordination.
Yeah, I think that's what they really lack right now. The coordination just not completely there for the Valiant. Now, the Fuel, they still are working Note into the roster, right? So you're still working on some things as well. You do have 2 wins this stage for both of these teams, so they're not as far off as some people may see looking at the overall standings, right? As the Valiant started to come alive as of late.
And all the signs point to quite a match between these two teams. It is burning blue in here already. I'm not just talking about the pyrotechnics. So there is perhaps a little bit more on the line than an average match for these guys. I think that's easy enough to say. We'll look to see what Note will bring to this team. It's not just been Diva, that's been leveraged. Let's now see our map set brought to you by Toyota. We'll find out exactly where we're heading first in this series. We'll begin on Oasis on control. Then Anubis, Eichenwald, and Junkertown to finish.
Yeah, Junkertown's always a scary map to end things off on, right? If you're like up 2-1 here for Dallas, you go to Junkertown, crazy things do happen on that map.
But here we are now, heading straight towards Oasis. It's going to be University now. It's going to be a lot of close-up fighting, brawling on the point. Make some noise, Allen Event Center. It's time to get started. And Dallas Fuel are off and out of the gates. Again, looks like 3-3 from both squads. Reinhardt for OG versus Fate's Winston.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be your main difference between these two teams right now, where the Reinhardt face comp, you're going to be able to take more real estate on the point. So look for the Fuel to get a little bit more aggressive, where Fate has to be really careful. You see AKM get really charged up here early. You see the bubbles going down onto the Ryan. It's so much easier to generate that charge.
The damage trades go vastly in the favor of the Dallas Fuel early on. And again, you have to wonder. OG able to shield up his team, allows them to take some ground, allows them to zone off the Valiant. Fate switching immediately to Reinhardt.
And I will say, for the Valiant, right, you haven't been on the same page, as a team throughout this season thus far. A scenario like this, playing in a hostile environment, kind of forces you to band together, right? There's nobody else in the venue that wants you to win outside of you, where you gotta pull it together if you want to make it a close game. If you can't pull it together, you think Dallas rides a lot of this momentum.
Oh my gosh, that grab was very early. AKM lets it go now. Transcendence to respond for the Los Angeles Valiant, but it may not be enough. It's a big shatter from OG. Everyone in the Valiant knocked to the ground. 2 big ultimates committed to that fight for Dallas, but they won't be complaining with the results.
Well, that was quick. OG gets his first shatter. He's going to build up towards another one. You see him and Fate basically about the same in terms of ult charge, and that's where you really get hurt by playing the Winston there at the beginning.
Transcendence used for Izzyaki in that prior fight, and it still wasn't enough to keep the Valiant up. The Fuel, Unco is definitely going to have his Transcendence ready to go here. KSF's Graviton, very important that it connects. No will be looking to eat that one up on the way through, but OG might have been caught there. Shield back, Brick for your agilities, goes down into trade. Brick for Reinhardt. Here comes the Graviton surge, and Fate's able to charge Zachary out the middle of it. Transcendence from Unco here keeps the remaining players at the Dallas Fuel up, and they still are on the point. Another Graviton from AKM. This man is so fast at building him, and he's found Izzyaki. Unco onto Fate, the G-suit doesn't matter. No, doesn't mind at all, going with the Bunny Blaster. 80% to 0 already.
In the LA Valiant, they end up using their sound barrier during that as well. Closer doesn't even feel the need to use it to keep the members of the Dallas Fuel alive. AKM
getting that grab so fast. Look, he's already at 50%. KSF there, I mean, he may get 3 grabs to KSF's 2 in this first point.
33% of his team's damage is AKM doing, but he goes down early on this fight, stunned up, and Izzyaki was able to find the finish. OG knocked back to the wall. He does have a shatter, but he may want to wait on it here. No, he lets it go into the shield, though. And that Transcendence is going to stave off a lot of that damage. The Valiant have a chance to break back now. The Graviton of KSF paving the way.
So the Valiant finally do get a break. If you're the Dallas Fuel, though, you only invested your shatter into that fight. You used Sound Barrier a little bit earlier on as well. But you're going to come back. You have Transcendence on the point. You have Rally to engage. So what they can do here is they can use the Rally. They can try and force maybe, Fate to use that Earth Shatter a little bit early. OG blocks it. You're going to come back with Transcendence plus grab. Do you think you have a really good chance of winning that fight?
AKM a little bit ahead of the rest of the Fuel here. He'd like to be able to throw a grab in from an off angle, so that it wouldn't be eaten up by Space, who has garnered a reputation for shutting Zygas down. Here's the push though. Look at all the space created immediately. Zachary almost went down. Unco had to go for the Transcendence to keep the Brigitte alive. Fate is forced back. His shield is low and Dallas are back in control. And the grab to follow it up. The timing is good. Shatter comes in. Fate down. And there it is. Good start for the Dallas Fuel here. First round on Oasis to the Double Blues.
AKM was massive on that point. Being able to build those Graviton surges up so fast. So, he has a really good first point. And I think since he's become like a mainstay in the Dallas Fuel roster on that Zarya role, I know we've seen him a few times walking around, like, he kind of jokes around. He's like, oh man, I wish I played some of those Zarya right now. But his Zarya has been really strong. I think definitely the leader, just of the actual in-game shot calling for the Dallas Fuel right now.
We are on the map of Oasis here. City Center will be our second round now. Again, opportunity for a bit more DPS-focused comps, Matt.
Yeah, so the LA Valiant, they come out with Izzyaki on the Ana and then Cuss on the Mercy, but otherwise they're going to have solo tanking Wrecking Ball with triple DPS. So Space has been able to flex over and play some Sombra. And Dallas, they realize it, so let's see what they decide to do. So AKM will bring out the McCree. I'm sure the fans will love to see that. He was so happy to make this switch.
A throwback.
Oh, yeah.
Unco and AKM not only on the same team, but AKM on that McCree. It brings back fond memories of the European scene, and now Dallas Fuel get to leverage this combo. Again, AKM still needs to be pretty careful, man. If Agilities can get a safe angle, it's tough for McCree to fend for himself. Great start towards Fate, though. He's trying to get away now with the adaptive shield, and he does. It was Unco that got picked off by Agilities.
Yeah, they try and get a stun there on the Fate, but they're not able to do so. You see the Wrecking Ball just cause so many problems. A hack there goes on a note on the point. He can't use Defense Matrix. It's the Valiant, they'll get control of it first.
Dallas Fuel have to retake some control now, losing a support early in that last fight. Not ideal. This man on your screen, Agilities here, well known and celebrated for his Pharah play, and he already has a barrage, an impactful ultimate to bring into the next fight if he can get it off unharmed.
He is high in the sky. I mean, for AKM, it's really hard to even get an angle on this, right? You would have to play completely out in the open, but then you have the Sombra trying to come on flying Wrecking Ball as well, so really hard to play the McCree into this.
Look at this, the rotation. Dallas go around, but quick sleep dart on towards OG. Izzyaki shutting down the Primal Rage Winston. Agility does wake him up here, but they're pressuring him down with damage. Fate also not looking great. Gunther trying to keep them alive, but closing gets the finish off now. A 6v5, making 4 as Space falls. And the rest of the Valiant falling like flies. Agilities tries to salvage with a barrage, but he's shut down by AKM. And KSF may have a tactical visor, but he may be struggling to find the targets. He's going to go for it anyway, but he's forced out of line of sight here. The shield of Zachary protecting his team from the aimbot, but he's still going to get a bit of damage here. Closer almost finished up, and he gets back around the corner, and OG returns, and he's mad. Izzyaki over the edge. And the Valiant now pretty much have to pull the plug on this one. It was a minefield used there by Fate to create some space, but OG says no, G.
Yeah, you think the Valiant going to make some changes? You see the minefield come in there from Fate. Wouldn't have used it in that position if you were going to stay on it. I think what happens there for the Valiant is when you lose Fate playing the Wrecking Ball, nobody has a large enough HP pool to stand on the point and being able to contest it. So they have nobody who's able to come down, contest the point. So Dallas ends up getting the foot and passing them in terms of percentage gain.
AKM, he's hitting those heads. A lot of pressure being put on the Valiant now with the EMP to follow up. It only caught on OG. Attempted Deadeye from AKM from the high ground, does not find what he was looking for. But that hack on OG has now expired, and AKM wants to get his hands a little bit dirty here. Flash in, fake caught by that one. Defense matrix by Note to keep AKM alive, but it's a sound barrier. It comes a little late though. Zachary had already fallen in the fight, and the Fuel are down to 5. Now they really need to dig deep and get those extra kills. Izayaki now beleaguered, beset on all sides, trying to find some space, but he's lost his running mate in Custard. Huge sleep dart on OG though. And then Winston now gets caught up in the corner. Bardic Grenade, Primal Rage for OG to try and get out, but the damage is just too great. The Dallas Fuel are at 80% to 38 here. The Valiant had to take it back there.
So you can rally tons of percentage, though, on this point. It's very difficult to take back. You see a lot of teams stall it out. So the Dallas Fuel decide to make some changes. Really good switch here. AKM going to go play Zarya. Your best opportunity here is to play 3-3 into this. As space building up towards another EMP. You probably just have to like dodge this bullet if you're Dallas, but you really have two fights here that the Valiant is pretty favored in, right? EMP, you can kind of get away with just using the EMP in a fight, and you have Grab. Let's see how they decide to use some of these ultimates.
Okay, so he lets it go. That one was risky, but it seems to have worked out for the time being. Bardic Grenade desperately thrown in there by Unco to keep his team alive, and only one kill yielded from the Graviton for the Valiant, but now they're looking for more. Fate, you can see him there with the Primal Rage trying to knock people out into oncoming traffic, but it's a 1-for-1. Space is down. OG found him. AKM manages to stay on the right side of the road. Look both ways, mate. And now they make their way to the point. Zachary went for the rally, and now the Fuel are a little bit more durable as they want to push forward. AKM, he's almost got himself a Graviton in one fight.
Yeah, the longer this fight goes, the less of a chance that they have for a second fight. As you see, the Valiant's already at 94% here. It'll be a Primal Rage for OG. He's gonna get an EMP though as Space comes on in, but he's so low. Oh, they barely keep the Sombra alive.
They need to keep OG up here, and the Sound Bearer comes out after the fact. Closer keeping the Dallas Fuel topped up, and now it's time for the Graviton surge. All of the Valiant are caught up, and that one, the timing couldn't have been any better. Agility's down. OG was just creating space, and he did it so well. Now we'll go and force Fate off with a point, but the Valiant are running out of play as that Graviton surge hurt them, and Dallas are back in the saddle.
The Valiant do have this Graviton surge to use. No support ultimates just online yet here for the Dallas Fuel. Zachary getting very close to a rally. That won't really, help you survive that big grab though. As see, they end up using the grab here early. Yeah.
Get caught out by Note, but OG was there despite the Bardic Grenade. He doesn't care. Now he's looking for Izayaki, and Zachary helps him out. The Dallas Fuel are only down one player, and the rally coming late in the fight for Zach is going to help keep them durable. Fate is down, and now the Valiant are in deep trouble. They have 2 players left on the point, make it 1. And they'll need reinforcements very quickly. Now the Fuel look to just clean them off. They maintain control. They're on the precipice of taking this round, and now the Doomfist comes out from Agilities, but he gets Bardic Grenaded, Matt. And there it is, KSF just blown to smithereens immediately. Matt 1, Dallas Fuel.
Now, you didn't get a great grab from KSF there at the end. You connected with a few people, but absolutely no follow through there for the Valiant, as you may have been able to hold on to that a little bit longer, get a better use.
And we'll be back just around the corner. Matt 2 is awaiting and needs to have plenty more haymakers to throw. We'll see you in a moment.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Allen Event Center here, Dallas homestand weekend. And well, it started pretty well for the home squad, Matt. Yeah. Oasis clutched up pretty nimbly by the Fuel.
And look, I mean, obviously this is a match the Fuel want to win and play in front of the home audience, but also extremely important in terms of their stage standings, right? Both of these teams 2-2. The Valiant actually have a better map differential than the Dallas Fuel right now, so any map you get against the Valiant is huge. And moving forward, right, you potentially win the series even bigger, and then you square up against Houston Outlaws tomorrow.
Yeah, when you face off against a team so close to you on the ladder, especially when you haven't played really that many games in terms of the stage length, you absolutely want to get those maps here. And it's a pretty sprightly team with sort of looks on AKM's face after they managed to take away Oasis. OG looked fantastic on them. Maybe continues to impress us, man, after a middling stage 1.
I think anytime AKM has the opportunity to play McCree, he's going to be pretty smiley up on the stage. So you see where we are right now in the series. Map 1, Oasis 2-0 to the Dallas Fuel. Anubis coming up next. I know we have seen some different strategies on the Temple of Anubis, but a lot of times you'll see teams run the triple tank, triple support, especially on defense.
And here we go, map number 2, Temple of Anubis. The Dallas Fuel would love to enter halftime with a 2-0 lead. Here is that first point that the Valiant will have to capture. Once they do that, they'll move on into this area. And point B is right underneath that gigantic sarcophagus. That will be point B.
You know, with the Dallas Fuel starting things off on defense, you can run the Sombra here, as you know, you're not really, if you have to switch your composition going into point B, you don't really have to change everything, at least for like initial pushes, right? So you can just have AKM go over to that Zarya and really have, you know, a strong 3-3 composition. What do the Valiant run at the start here? It looks like, at least here, they'll be running the 3-3. They could have run something with, you know, Wrecking Ball, or maybe, I think, like the Reinhardt version of the 3-3. They go at Winston, though, to get some of that high ground control here.
You definitely know the Valiant want to rotate up to the high ground here. Winston needs to stay with the rest of their team, and Dallas needs to sniff this out. They kind of know what the Valiant are going for. First moving up to the bridge here, and Dallas back off. You see they're playing very patiently in the back corner. You can see Closer and Co. And Note off to the side. Now here comes the dive. The Valiant are trying to start a fight on the high ground, but they don't really have the players to do it. Fate gets blown up immediately.
Yeah, and you didn't get space up there with the defense matrix to try and keep him alive. But I think if you're the Valiant now, you get an idea of what Dallas is running, right? You see the Sombra. You also see Unco playing the Ana, so you don't have the Zenyatta, you don't have the Discord Orb in effect. So Ana, a little bit of a easier dive target. As Zenyatta could Discord, you know, you have some other players there, a ton of damage being able to pump out. The scary part about diving the Ana is the Biotic Grenade, where you can't get any healing at that point.
AKM is close to an EMP already, man. He's done a heck of a lot in the early stages of this round. Bubble immediately and hastily applied to Fate as he tried to ascend to the high ground, but here it is, EMP time, and he lets it rip. Gets 4, AKM with that one, and he even gets out alive. Transcendence comes in after the fact, but the Valiant have already lost agilities in the brawl down below. AKM chilling on the high ground. Fate does try and accost some of the supports, but he drops away. Oh, Unco lets the nano boost go. He's going to fall down on OG, needs to make up for his absence. He does it admirably, of course. With Izayaki having gone down, the Valiant had to go back to the drawing board once more.
Does Unco stay on Ana here? We'll see what he decides to do. Is he's going to be walking back from the spawn. It looks like, at least for now, staying on it. Space, yep. That's a tough one. As we see a lot of divas staggered out.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, what you do like about having the Ana as well on the defense is you can get a lot of high ground. Also gives you a great line of sight if they use the Transcendence on the point to hit a big Biotic Grenade, deny all that healing that you would get from that Zenyatta ultimate. So really, it's about controlling the high ground here for the Dallas Fuel. The LA Valiant want to just force them off of the high ground onto the point. That's why you see the Valiant coming wrapping around here on the high ground. But look, Dallas really smart. They rotate out to the bridge.
Yeah, this is the more direct approach to claiming high ground, but it's a bit more obvious. The Valiant make it very clear what their intent is. And AKM can amongst the pigeons. That's the EMP go once more. 3 players caught by that, but more importantly, it was KSF who had the Graviton Surge. That will be denied from him for this fight. And OG is controlling the backline. He's juggling them now as he pleases. Sandberry managed to come through. Custer actually got that ultimate to work despite being knocked up, but it doesn't connect with a lot of the players on the Valiant. Still, Los Angeles get rid of Zachary here. OG retreats back to the high ground, and the cap is still going.
Yeah, and they do have a Transcendence use as well. Fate falls right as they use Transcendence. And you do have KSF sleeping, so can't even use the grab.
Can they take him out before KSF goes to grab? Maybe you don't bother with that. Oh, that was beautiful. KSF got hacked just as he woke up. So even if he'd wanted to grab in a short-handed fight for the Valiant, he wouldn't have had the chance. But here come the Valiant once more. Izayaki picks off Unco. KSF is looking for a good way to set up this grab. Stunned briefly, Zachary, his nerve broken. There it is, closing gets neutralized as he gets caught inside the grab. The Valiant now in good shape to take point A.
Yeah, I think if you're Dallas, though, you're pretty happy with your defense. You forced out the Graviton Surge towards the end of that fight, so you don't have that big ultimate to combo with the self-destruct going into point B. Dallas has a lot of ultimates coming online here. You think a good first point B hold, and then maybe some changes on the composition-wise from both teams.
EMP connects, Fate and KSF caught once more. Custard doubles back, trying to give them up and help his backline. It was OG who was looking to try and have his Izayaki for breakfast, but he didn't have the opportunity. Now OG back towards the point again. The landing impact takes a lot of damage away from the Valiant, and Izayaki gets taken out. Now without a Zenyatta, it's going to be a little bit harder for the Los Angeles Valiant, and OG once again has a primal rage. I don't know how many he's had already in this round, but they are having an impact.
I think now if you're Dallas, you're going to go switch over to the Reinhardt version of this, so OG goes back to the spawn. AKM as well, so you'll switch to Reinhardt here. So will the Valiant. I think that when you go into point B and you have these small choke points, I think the Winston a little bit too risky. You could get blown up rather quickly. And not as survivable as Reinhardt.
Self-destruct for space. He might be waiting on KSF to have his Graviton Surge ready. Custer and Closer both have sound barriers, so play support ults here. And that's going to get used for the Valiant straight away. They use the sound barrier to give them the durability to even get towards the point. They're not even fighting on it yet. They're waiting for Izayaki's Transcendence, and that is now ready. Everything in place for the Valiant to make their push. So early poke damage to Trajan. That's a self-destruct thrown over the backside. It doesn't catch anyone, but Fate went down. No one was able to pick him off, and it may have been one who was outside of his mech with a Bunny Blaster.
And they ended up using Transcendence there, about as bad as it could go for the LA Valiant. As they try and engage with Sound Barrier, they push up, but they don't actually even claim the position they want. They don't actually even make it to the point. Maybe you make it to the point with Sound Barrier, then you layer the Transcendence and you're in a good spot.
Oh no. OG! The connection is perfect! And he might go down for that one, but the shadow is big. Let's see though if the Valiant can turn this around and punish for it. It might have been a moment of hubris perhaps. OG getting ahead of himself. It's a rally from the Fuel to get them back to the point. Still in one piece, but here comes a grab after the fact. Sound Barrier now being used by the Fuel. They're forced to use a lot of those support ultimates to keep themselves up. Fate is also low. He gets a repair back and has to take a couple steps back, but Closer says no. Tries to knock Fate forward in the rest of the Fuel. Here's a self-destruct now. This could create some space, no pun intended, and it gets rid of Unco. Despite being caught on the Graviton Surge, the Valiant are ahead in numbers right now, and the Transcendence from Izayaki is good. Shatter, another one here, this time from Fate on towards Note. He's desuited, but goes for the self-destruct. He wants that mech back, but he's been chased down currently. Closer pushed off the point, and AKM out of the mix here. He's switched off of that Sombra, but 2 ticks of permanent progress have been gained for the Valiant on this point. The Downers Fuel, have they done it? Did their confidence get the better of them here as both teams go for the Sound Barrier? A big shatter. OG again! He may have gotten them out of this one. The Valiant have to take a pause for thought here, and I think they realize
that
they've been bested.
Oh, what a shatter.
Oh my.
We'll talk about the first one that almost loses them the map, but hey, we'll talk about that one, right? Connected with 3 players there, saving the point for the Dallas Fuel. The Valiant do get up to 96%. You see the checkpoint at the top of your screen. They will have to kind of work from that second tick all the way up, but still good progress for the Valiant, right, in case they don't take point B.
Oh, fight a grenade. That is absolutely massive from Unco, and you saw OG try and follow it up with a fire strike. It didn't quite take anyone down on the side of the Valiant, but again, it's buying the Fuel time. The Valiant have to wait. They need to heal up. They need to be at full health points before they start this fight. It's a grab from KSF here. Where does he put it? The Fuel are kind of split on the point left and right here, but with OG jumping across, this might be the opportunity to let it go. Very patient play from KSF, but now with Fate being put to sleep, it needs to be a little bit careful. And that's a go! Straight into no man. Defense Matrix will have that one. Thank you very much.
I know the Dallas 2 are trying to bait them to grab OG there. They end up using the nano boost onto OG and they push him up. And they're trying to bait that Graviton Surge out a little bit earlier. Just to solo grab OG. The Valiant don't fall for it. The issue is they just throw their grab right into Note's defense matrix. He eats it on up. So
I can't believe it.
Note, Adamec right now. AKM with a grab. OG with a shatter here. You think they play quite aggressive with only 17 seconds left. You can use some of these ultimates and prevent Valiant from even touching the point.
Time for the Valiant now. Last chance to loot with 8 seconds left. AKM's grab. It's eaten up by space. That's a good start. One of the big ultimates for the Dallas Fuel has been taken away. Sound Barrier here for the Dallas Fuel. Now they need to keep themselves nice and healthy, and OG starts off well. Agilities is pinned. Space has a self-destruct, but where does he put it? His team's been cut down by OG. That hammer is swinging for the fence, and No gets himself too. And he liked them apples. The Dallas Fuel hold off on defense. Los Angeles are unable to complete the map, but now the win condition for the Fuel in map 2 is set. Capture point B, and Bob's your uncle. We'll be back with that half in just a moment.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Pretty quick first half here on Temple of Anubis. The Dallas Fuel are looking hot to trot thus far. Their defense almost faltered when OG went absolutely ham, but Matt, they managed to prevent the Valiant from finishing the attacking side of Anubis.
Yeah, it got close there for a sec, right? I mean, OG doesn't come back with that second Earth Shatter, connect with 3 players, and clean up the point. You don't know if the Dallas Fuel holds on both points on defense. So the match of the week tomorrow. Surprise, surprise. Dallas versus Houston. Sure, we're going to have a pretty lit crowd here for that one, so don't want to miss it. 5:15 p.m. CT, Twitch, ESPN, Disney XD.
And here we go now. The Valiant will be on the defense, and they have to hold against a very aggressive, very energetic Dallas Fuel. If their defense was anything to go by, Matt, we should expect the Fuel to hit the ground running.
Yeah, no, don't expect them to hit the ground running with this lineup. Well, maybe some changes now. I know AKM could play the way
I'm here for it.
I mean, we all are, but we're going to see Zari instead as they go with the Reinhardt 3-3. So the disadvantage is they can't access the high ground. They don't have the Winston. The advantage here for them would be if they were able to take point A, they would force some changes from the Valiant, specifically Fate having to go over to Reinhardt, and they have the advantage in terms of ultimate economy at that point. So you are playing a little bit of a riskier game, as you would like the ability to dive onto the back line here for the Dallas Fuel, but you know, in the well, that's one way you can dive the back line, just boost yourself up as Zarya, but
it's jumping out of his skin. Okay, I'm looking to try and find a pick off there, but the Fuel with this composition are kind of daring the Valiant to find them. We have the Reinhardt. Come at us.
I mean, so they can get the high ground here, and then I think you're relying on Unco to land some discords, you know, put down some damage. Really the only player for the Dallas Fuel that can do significant damage at range.
Both AKM and KSF looking to get good charge here. Look at Space, goes very low. AKM giving him the treatment for the high ground. Fate goes in and down. Both main tanks are traded out though. And it looks like the Fuel are prepared to commit further to this fight. AKM does not have a lot of charge, but over time he's done a decent amount of chip damage to the Valiant. Look at those health bars at the top of your screen on the left. The Valiant need to take a break to heal back up, and the Fuel are capturing 1 tick of permanent progress has now been enabled.
Yeah, and OG comes back on Wrecking Ball just to get to the point quick. As the Dallas Fuel really feel like they have an advantage here. It'll be the Graviton Surge that comes out from AKM. Transcendence as well.
Oh, the pile driver into the Graviton Surge. That's filthy. Space trying to go for the self-destruct. He did find OG at the very least. And now Note's going to go for one of his own. It does make some space, and with agilities going down, things are looking very good for the Dallas Fuel. They have the positioning on the point. You can see Custer trying to stay alive, the Aussie battler that he is. But it's not going to be enough for LA right now. Dallas Fuel have point A.
And I want to say at the beginning of that, you know, when you lose both main tanks, you know, the Valiant probably would have picked up some more kills, but it was a really nice peel from Note to get up to the high ground on the D.Va, you know, protect the supports there. You know, keeping the supports alive for Dallas is huge. You end up farming more ult rather quickly, and if they lose some supports there, it would have been very difficult to make that play on the point. Really nice play from Note, the double back, keep the supports up.
Now the Fuel through the catacombs to point B. There are many ways to attack this point. This is only one of them. They'll make their way forward. Both teams, Lucio's go for sound barriers here. They're expecting to cop a battering from one another, and that is true.
And because of the switch from OG to go to Wrecking Ball and then back to Reinhardt, he actually loses in terms of that ultimate economy game we were talking about. They lose Unko to a Fire Strike here, so not looking good for the Dallas Fuel.
Oh, OG. Shattered and scattered to the four winds there. Nice Earth Shatter from Fate to follow up. The Fire Strike also. Big performance being put in now by the main tank for the Valiant.
So now for Dallas, you try and play this game where you can, you know, force some ultimates out from the Valiant. You have some time, right? You know, 4 minutes and 50 seconds counting to make a play here. No need to really rush. You're gonna have well, it's a good combination of ultimates here, Mitch. You're gonna have your self-destruct, you're gonna have your Graviton Surge, right? You know, maybe you get a boot that comes in from closer and you're able to put this away.
Again, if Fuel can knock one of the Valiant players to the lower level or displace, especially Fate, if they can get Fate out of the picture, Dallas will have a much easier time and getting to the more vulnerable parts. And Fate might have overextended here. Looks like a pincer attempt to get rid of the Valiant's Reinhardt. Doesn't quite pay off. Izayaki with a headshot dealing with OG. Didn't quite have his shatter yet. Gonna be a rally used from the Valiant. Their agility's pushing them forward. Staunch hold here from Los Angeles so far.
Now you see Izayaki just getting in the mix there on the Zenyatta. So you do get rally out, right? So now Zachary will end up building up towards his rally. It's really the slow game you're playing here for the Dallas Fuel. So you're starting to, you know, build some ultimates. You think, look, you just need to take point B. You come in, you have 6 ultimates, you getting them to waste some of their ultimates on the other side. You think you have a good shot.
Plenty of time. In fact, they don't even quite need to capture all of point B, just 96.1% of it.
It's close to capping the whole thing.
Yeah, basically.
Much, yeah.
Okay, AKM splits off or splits ahead of the rest of the Fuel. Is he trying to outmaneuver space? No, it doesn't look like it.
It's a hard angle if you're going to try and land a Graviton Surge here. You don't know where the D.Va is behind the wall. So you're just trying to get some kind of visibility on space.
There it is, Graviton Surge from the Valiant this time. Self-destruct in the middle of its space, looking for something, gets nothing! And it all turns against the Valiant. It's all gone wrong for LA. And there it is, Stunning towards Fate. They're going to have to use a sound barrier of the remaining 3 players to stay in this fight. Shadow attempt from Fate, it blocks. He gets nothing from that one either. The Fuel trying to get Custer off the point so they can start capturing it, and now they've begun. 1 tick gain for them. And the Valiant have regrouped to push up. 2 ticks for the Dallas Fuel. Now it's getting really sweaty. The Valiant have to do something. They need to intervene, but Space is knocked out of his mech and closer. The sound barrier was there. OG. It's the Fire Strike on agilities. And who else from the Valiant's going to step up? There's nobody left. Fate is down. Custer hanging in there once more, but it is Custer's last stand. And that'll be 2 maps from 2 for the Fuel.
AKM trying to hype the crowd up. The Dallas Fuel have been sick in the first 2 maps. Really nice counter shatter there from OG as he was stuck in the grab to help block the D.Va bomb and the Graviton Surge of their own. So Dallas Fuel up 2-0 going into halftime.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. Make some noise. Your team is up 2-0 after the half. You can see insane stuff coming in from the tanks. Back-to-back victories as it's all fuel on top of this one. Welcome back in to a fully packed house here in Dallas, Texas. We're here for the homestand. I'm your host, Chris Puckett, alongside Zoe, Brennan, Sideshow, and we are here with an electric audience that is getting behind their hometown team.
It's absolutely nuts. I haven't experienced a crowd like this since we were at the grand finals last year.
Even then, I think this might be better with this Texas crowd.
It's crazy because everyone's supporting the same team. You're such a panderer. You're such a panderer.
I don't even care. This crowd has been absolutely insane. When Dallas were walking out, they were shaking, vibrating the entire stadium. Unreal.
So we got to start here with Oasis. It was our first map of the day, and Dallas, they walk away with 2 clean rounds.
Oh, they really do, and I think a lot of that was on the back of OG. My God, he stepped it up.
Look at this.
He opened things up first round with a huge shatter, which that must have been fear-inducing. If I were the Valiant, that would have gone back to spawn instantaneously.
Valiant immediately out of the gates, I noticed they were looking shooken, honestly. This was, and I don't blame them.
But wouldn't you?
I mean, exactly.
Exactly.
The fact that they even managed to put up a reasonable performance later into this series so far is astounding, because I mean, we go on about this all the time, but when you have a crowd behind you that's 4,500 strong, it is like a 7th member of the team.
But the other thing is, normally you have some section of the crowd that's after you as well. It feels incredibly hostile.
Taking a look at the main tanks in that one, they couldn't stay alive without play like this.
They really couldn't, and he did actually more than double as much healing per 10 as well as Izayaki. Izayaki got almost nothing done for his team, whereas Unko kept them all alive, got those sleep darts, and his bionic grenades really led to a lot of kills also.
Yeah, his play on Ana had more heals than Izayaki across all heroes in that first map. Let's keep it rolling, though, into our second map of the day. Very exciting, Anubis. I thought we were going to see a full hold. Eventually, it's the Valiant powering their way through, but who's impressing you guys so far? It can't just be OG.
Well, I mean, OG was fantastic on this map as well, but I've got to give credit to Note. I think he was fantastic at supporting OG, and he's opportunistic in the way that he goes aggressive. This eat on the Graviton from KSF was huge, but also just the fact that he sees opportunities that other divas wouldn't, and can punish Fate, and can go aggressive, and can relieve some pressure from OG so that he can just go wild.
Another aspect of this match that we haven't really talked about is actually this battle between these off-tanks as the best diva player, realistically, in this game. You can make an argument for Space, you can make an argument for Note. So far, Note turning up in spades. You can see here, 2 deaths on the board when it comes to Anubis. Just ridiculous numbers all around.
Getting a lot of love. He's the new face here for the Dallas Fuel, traded for RCK, of course, just a few weeks ago. So we got to talk about this Valiant team, though. Yes, they're outnumbered 4,500 to maybe 12, but is there a chance? Is there a chance they pull this back in the second half?
I mean, this is Overwatch, so I want to say there's always a chance, but let's be realistic. No, I don't think so. I think Dallas got this. Don't worry, crowd. I'm with you. I'm with you on this one. No, I'm sorry, but Dallas is playing so clean right now.
It's time to find out. Will Dallas close it out with a clean 3-0? That's coming up next. Here, it's the Overwatch League, live from Dallas.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
It's lit out here in the home Star State, and I tell you what, the Dallas Fuel have put on quite a show for all of their home fans in their first ever home game, 2-0 over the Los Angeles Valiant at halftime. Tell you what, by the way, if you're enjoying this kind of atmosphere and you want to get to your team's home game, well, next we're headed off to Atlanta, Georgia in Stage 3. Head to atlrain.com to purchase your tickets July 6th, July 7th.
Oh man, that's going to be a fun one as well. I think anytime we go out on the road now, just the vibes of just being in a new place, right? Everybody comes out supporting their favorite teams.
The bar is high.
Oh yeah, Atlanta, you better bring it. I mean, it's pretty crazy in here.
They've got time now. They can see how this one goes down. And I mean, hey, we still got another whole day of this action, but more importantly, still another potential 2 maps in this series, maybe more, but the Valiant have a lot of work to do. They have looked a little deflated, Matt, especially at the end of Anubis.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end of Anubis, they kind of all fell apart, right? They did have some ultimates to actually, turn some of those fights around. They had like a Transcendence, they had Grab, they're just not able to get anything with their combos. I think it's really, a really nice counter shatter from OG. He knows that space of self-destruct is like stuck in the Grab that they're stuck in. Instead of just turning and letting Fate just knock him down, knocks down Fate, turns, blocks the Grab, blocks the self-destruct. It was really nice play from OG.
Absolutely, the cleanup was there. The Valiant, they tried to dig their heels in and maintain some ground, but it wasn't enough. Next map, coming right at you here. Oh man, I can feel the vibrations in my internal organs. It's crazy. Map number 3 is going to be Eichenwald here, our hybrid map, Matt. And this is where the Valiant have to end the loss streak on maps. They must bring this one back to stay in the series.
0-1, not a large sample size, but still haven't won on Eichenwald. We'll see what they decide to roll out with. The Dallas Fuel on defense, it looks like they're going to go with the Ana over Zen yet again. So some high ground here for the Ana to take advantage of on Eichenwald. You have to play pretty far back, though, close to the point. For that high ground positioning, you see Zachary on the break, just looking around the corner here. Looks like the Valiant potentially will start off on the Winston version of the 3-3. OG probably just trying to get a cheeky fire strike here. Instead of throwing it down the middle where it gets eaten up a lot of the time, throws it from the side. I actually think he throws it a little bit too early.
Yeah, it got eaten from what I could see, and he charged to get back in position. That will be back off cooldown in just a moment. But you can see the Dallas Fuel is set up with it's not very aggressive, right? They're using the Ani, they have a lot of healing, but they don't really want to go too far. They don't want to overextend like they did beforehand. You see Fate went straight in. That's a huge move. Look at that. The Fuel sort of cut in half. They now need to retreat and try and keep OG alive.
And I think they don't mind the Fuel if Fate jumps right on top of OG. You bubble OG, you have him swing a few times. So Fate gets low, the repair pack used, but not able to keep him up. That's the hard part about playing the Winston version of this into Reinhardt, is that the survivability of Winston, if you use the jump pack to get in, by the time you get the jump pack out, you may not be alive. And then look, they switch over to Ryan right away, so they know they're not going to be able to force the issue here and make this work.
By the end of the fight, AKM was not only fully charged, but rather close to his first Graviton surge, with KSF nipping at his heels, 75% for the Valiant Zaya.
I mean, losing this first fight, though, in the way the Valiant ran, you almost are kind of losing too, because look at all the ultimates that the Fuel are going to have. You're walking in everything here.
Oh, AKM had to make use of that shield there from OG, though. He was playing a bit of a dangerous game. The Valiant haven't had to use their support ult to get to the point this time, so that's a nice improvement of what we saw in the Temple of Anubis. And they can save it for when the fight really starts to get serious right here on the payload. The Valiant want to get on the road with this payload map. They need to win a fight here. Graviton starts it up. OG trying to keep that shield up, but he's charged out of it, then not back in. OG stunned the whole time. Shield is down, but it doesn't matter because KSF gets caught out by Note, and the Graviton surge from him was not fruitful. And more importantly, AKM and OG still have their ultimates to bring later.
Yes, OG still with the shatter. He's going to use it. Connect with 3, it looks like, as you're going to knock space down. He's going to actually use the self-destruct to get a new mech back. So they still want to fight this, the Valiant, because you would have liked to maybe hold on to that self-destruct. You don't have a combo with it. They're going to rally and sound barrier on top of each other. That's because the grab comes out from AKM.
And in all fairness, the grab isn't able to find any picks in. The Dallas Fuel might be running out of options to close out this fight. Note removed from his mech, and Fate, you can see him confidently stride across the point and try and take pole position. But AKM is charged up, Matt, and as this fight goes longer, the more damage he and KSF respectively are going to be dealing. He needs to stay alive, though. His personal shielding is not infinite. He's trying to work around OG, who just got placed a Discord orb on him and needs to be careful about damage. He pushes forward. Fate gets blown up. Great start to the fight, and there's an Earth Shadow to follow. Agilities is felled, and the Valiant are dealt with.
Anytime the Valiant feel like they have OG weak and they want to push in, they have the Discord on them, they get a nano boost on OG right away. They're so far out, the Valiant, that they don't have enough time to back out of that position. And they're able to make the plays.
This is bad news for Los Angeles now. They have 1 minute left. And it's generally expected that attacking teams will at least get to push the payload some distance on this map.
They don't even have any progress on point A either. I mean, it's not looking good for the Valiant.
This is a Dallas Fuel that I don't think I've even seen before. They look very clean, but here's the Graviton surge from the Valiant now. Ties them all up. Soundberry comes out in response from Dallas. Fight goes for the shot. It gets two. AKM and OG, but no! Go straight back to square one. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Note just absolutely crushed the Valiant with that self-destruct.
Yeah, as now, you know, KS have used his grab, so you don't even have a combo that you could pull off if you're the Valiant with the grab self-destruct. So the Valiant will come in, probably open things up with Rally. It's Rally from Dallas. This is going to force the Agilities Rally pretty much in the spawn. So you get that ultimate out.
Oh,
Cody's
got caught. He doesn't get out alive. The Fuel tried to get the whole game back to the point, but it was a straggler, and it was their Lucio. They needed him to be in play now. It's going to be a nano boost here from Unco. Fate is hit by a fighting grenade and can't be healed for the time being. Shatter, it has to be big. It does connect on towards Fate, but OG needs to get the pin. He doesn't quite get there. Now the Transcendence comes in from Izayaki. The Valiant have a bit of extra healing for the next couple of moments, and they're beginning the capture. 2 ticks of permanent progress. OG, very nice bubble placed on him by AKM in a pinch to keep him alive, but the point has been captured. And the Fuel now have to back away in this fight, try and get some ultimate charge perhaps, but the Valiant will get to push one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, the kill on a closer is big, as you see Dallas getting some cleanup here, as they may end up deciding to play forward, but the kill on a closer, it prevents Dallas from using its speed boost and backing out of that position. They push so far up using Rally, because they think they have the luxury of having the speed boost to back out once they force the Rally out. They don't have that, they end up getting taken out here, but Dallas, you know, the payload unlocked now for the Valiant, so they'll be able to make some progress. Dallas plays in front of the door. You want to force these ultimates out before they start to make progress down the street.
That's a lot of ultimates. Huge shadow though from OG, shuts down Fate. Oh no, gets another. Even if the Graviton surge from the Fuel wasn't overly convincing, they still get the most important target. The main take for the Valiant is plucked from the rest of them at the beginning of the fight. And the Dallas Fuel have a chance to play aggressively here. They're not quite spawn camping, Matt, but they're forcing these key ultimates out of LA so early on in the payload push.
Yeah, I mean, the payload's not even pushing at all. And you see OG can play this corner and conserve his Reinhardt shield, so could win the shield war with Fate as the Earth Shatter. Sound Barrier comes in to protect everybody on Dallas. First kill in favor of Dallas.
Uncom's the only one caught by the Shatter and Closer very quickly at a band-aid for the situation. It was a Sound Barrier, and again, Fate is done. AKM now, look at this charge. It's killing people inside spawn.
And you feel horrible if you're the Valiant to have to potentially think about investing Transcendence to get out of your spawn. Like, that is your worst case scenario. And I mean, they could use a Transcendence and then Unco hits a biotic grenade, they don't get anything out of it. Oh, and then you're real screwed.
Oh, this is not good for the Valiant. AKM has another Graviton surge, and the Fuel can just lean into it. There it is, Fate's gonna get caught inside Darwin, and it looks like Team Valiant's blasting off again! Self-destruct just for good measure, but probably just the fireworks Dallas wanted to accompany the event. One more chance, maybe 2 at best for the Valiant. They've got 20 seconds to get on the payload.
I mean, you'll be able to use Rally here if you're the Fuel, maybe force out Sound Barrier, because you're going to need to invest if you're the Valiant to try and get it going. Then you have this nano boost you could use on OG. Big Shatter could potentially end this half.
OG looking to put the full stop on a sentence. That's been quite the statement from the Dallas Fuel on this map. We do not see this often. Now we're in overtime. If the Valiant get knocked off of the payload around the lane, they go for the Graviton surge pretty early on here. Shatter from OG, catches 5! Unbelievable! It's a trade out, but it's 2 for the Valiant in terms of kills. They've lost 2 players, and now Fate has to try and save this from this one, but it was a desperate Shatter. Zachary just walks up and stuns him straight out of it. Custer now has trying to keep the payload contested. Self-destruct from space doesn't get much done. It makes a little bit of room for them, but that's really all they're going to get. Custer now falling to Zachary. Unco finds KSF agility. He's caught inside the grab. Space is going to get a leash to the payload here and keep it contested. Izayaki walks out with the Transcendence, so there's a bit of healing for the remaining Valiant players on the point. They might be able to get some sort of a semblance of a comeback going, but they need to find some picks. There's one. Fate goes down, but OG what's missing for the Dallas Fuel. They're trying to push the Valiant off the payload, but Los Angeles spawns so closely. They're keeping a constant stream of players going to the payload to maintain contesting it.
Yeah, and the Valiant have to stay on the cart because that overtime wick is going to go down so quick if they get off of it. You see, they just keep juggling the point, trying to keep overtime going. They do have a great spawn advantage here, though. It would be huge
so
if Dallas is able to clutch up.
But they push them up. Custer staying on the payload, even agilities, and he's out. You've gone down. Custer needs to do something. He moves back, gets behind Fate's shield. Now pulse bomb attempt on Nope, but he stayed inside of his mech for a long time. Now it has to be the trace from KSM to keep this one contested, but the Graviton serve will end it! I don't think I've ever seen an overtime like that before. Dallas with their spawn camp, they refused to leave the house. They weren't even invited by the Valiant, but you better believe they freeloaded. Wow. Now the Valiant are in deep, deep trouble in this series, and Fuel are ready to lock it all up right after this.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
If anyone tells me down the line or in the future that home ground advantage doesn't mean anything, especially in esports, I'll refer them to this particular game as an example. I've never seen an overtime hold by a defending team on Eichenwald so close and so effective. OG hit a 5-player Earthshatter just when it looked like things were getting dicey for Dallas playing forward.
We've seen it in the past, but usually happens like right on the other side of the door. But hey, last chance to vote for your 2019 All-Star starters. See the link right there.
Vote for me and Matt.
Hey, I'm not opposed to that.
Yep. Vote for us.
Me as the star? Nah, you should vote for OG.
Vote for OG.
Yeah, I mean, you ain't vote for OG, you're crazy, right? I mean, he's been a boss this stage.
The entire Dallas Fuel delivering a transcendent performance here, and again, this is what they need at 6-5 in the overall season, and out of the gates they come. It's going to be right hard for OG here. Both teams playing the same composition.
And with the progress that the Valiant made, if Dallas is able to take the first point, depending on when the deaths actually happen, like if they happen late, the Valiant may not get an opportunity to contest the cart before it completes.
Oh, agilities! Backhand's got him!
You can't do that.
Down to 5 players, and the Valiant are missing a very important utility piece, healing and crowd control.
I mean, you have to back out. If you push
they can't contest at all.
If you push in without agilities, it's pretty much over, right? So
for real!
The only chance you have is to wait for agilities. That first death is huge, maybe the game.
Look at the payload, it's already got naked. The Valiant touch, they count with just a couple of players. Space tries to go on, but Fate's already gone down. Here comes the Transcendence, though the Valiant need the healing. They need to find a foothold somehow in this fight. A lot of pressure on towards OG, but Unco responds. He had his own Transcendence, and he got it just a little bit later. He who laughs loudest, and the Fuel are taken. That first home game. Shrugs from Zachary, of course, because he's chill about it.
Why not? That'll be a 3-0 for the Dallas Fuel. The
Could not have gone any better for them.
In a 4-map series, they've already got it looked up. Now the rest is for bragging rights and a bit of fun. But what an experience for Dallas. Zachary just goes for the shrug. He doesn't even know what he expected. But this is the victorious homecoming the Dallas Fuel were looking for. And another map. Get that 4-0, be nice.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, y'all. I'm Mika Burton, and Dallas is up 3-0. Yes, that is amazing. I talked to the Fuel at the half, and they told me despite how exciting playing in their home city is, they are trying to keep a level head as they continue to play today. Even though the Battle of Texas is going down tomorrow, Fuel made sure to prepare for Valiant thoroughly today, as we've seen. As Dallas had a bit of a rough showing last week, their goal this weekend is to enact a, quote, home revenge and show their fans they are truly a solid team. So, Texas, let's show them some support. Let's give them a big ol' yeehaw. Cheer them on. Yeehaw! That's what I like to hear. So, Mitch and Matt, back to you.
That's awesome. Thank you very much, Mika. Yeah, I think everyone is in high spirits now seeing Dallas Fuel. After a very rough week last week, it was a 0-2 week for Dallas. They played two very difficult opponents. I mean, of course, it was in Vancouver and Seoul, and we wondered about their stage playoff chances, how they were looking. But now they start to get above 500 with a win here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, 0-2 week coming into this is not ideal. It just puts even more pressure that they probably would not have liked coming into the week, right? Where you want it, well, you want to win in front of the home crowd, right? Absolutely. You come in off of a rough week, you drop a game, right? It wouldn't be ideal, but you get the first win over the Valiant, you kind of, ease the nerves, so to speak. I imagine there are some of the guys on the stage who are quite nervous playing with such a crazy crowd behind them.
Yeah, I think it's really important to point out that we are seeing some crazy stuff here from the gameplay, in general from Dallas. This is not normal. Kareev's going to be subbing in for Izayaki in the Valiant's last map here. Some of the game states that we've been presented with and some of the, I guess, just general game flow that Dallas has created is very abnormal, right? We're talking about that defensive hold on Eichenwald. There's more than just preparation there. There's a lot of momentum, and there's definitely the crowd behind them that gets them to play that way.
You ride the energy, right? I mean, you come into the spawn, you start picking up some kills, everybody in the room starting to go crazy, right? The Valiant. I mean, those are pretty good, soundproof. I've worn those before when I was a player, but you can still hear. I mean, when these people are going nuts, you can still hear through that.
Well, also the vibrations. You feel it wherever you're sitting in this arena.
They feel it up there. It's got to be a tough environment to play through.
Kareev is going to get a run here, even though obviously the series now is impossible for the Valiant to win because they've lost. He would come in now at the flex support role for Izayaki. So this is a little bit more similar to what we saw from the Valiant prior.
Yeah, Junkertown, you can play some Bastion here. You can play some Roadhog, where you would like your flex support to play. Yeah, you'd like your flex support to play some of the more damage dealers, where Kareev has played damage in the past, right? Just as a straight up role. He's played DPS and flex support, so you bring him in here for this final map, trying to get a map win.
We've seen Kareev play some very interesting approaches, I think, in the past. We've seen him play a bunch of Widowmaker before. By the way, one of the longest maps played in Overwatch League history was Fuel versus Valiant Junkertown back in Season 1. So 35 minutes. Now, I don't necessarily think this map will go quite as long. Perhaps these two teams were a bit more evenly matched back then, but still, there's a bit of history here for both of these rosters.
Yeah, I mean,
Junkertown to finish it off. Map number 4. And the Dallas Fuel really just doing it as a bit of a victory parade, a lap of honor, I guess you could say. The Valiant need to get some maps here because they are slipping further and further away from even the season playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams in the stage come in at 2-2. The Valiant had a better map differential at -2 compared to the -3 for the Fuel. So this map would actually be pretty big for the Fuel, gives them some breathing room to the Valiant. So both teams trying to get into the stage playoff. Both right now on the outside looking in.
Now, the Valiant have actually won this map last time they played it. The Fuel did not. We'll see if things are different on the day, and Dallas try and play pretty close. You can see they were pushed up to that house.
Yeah, they play close in case they're running like a Bastion or something, and they would have gotten aggressive on the cart, not let the Bastion set up, but they see they're coming out with triple tank, triple support. So Fate goes back, switches over to Reinhardt. Now once they see the mirror, now you want to fight.
Valiant trying to push up the stairs here, shake the Dallas Fuel out of position, but this is a chance for Dallas to split off, carve away some of these players on the Valiant here. A little bit messy, but Kareev finds AKM to start things off. It's a headshot now without the Zarya. The Dallas Fuel might have to backtrack a lot. Nicely played by the Valiant there. Dallas may not even have a real great chance at another fight here, man.
Yeah, and what surprised me so far in the series between these two teams is that, I mean, obviously the Dallas Fuel, very strong roster. I think the Valiant definitely have some issues, but the Valiant have been playing as a roster, as a 6 for much longer, right? Note just added in the stage break, right? And know with triple tank, triple support, a lot of it is teamwork, knowing positioning. And Dallas seems to have the better teamwork right away.
Up towards that right-hand side, you saw Note there, happy to fly back up and get ready to double back in case he needs to protect some of those supports. The Valiant are very spread out in this fight here, hoping not to get caught by a body grenade from Unco, but it's going to get the nano boost going anyway. Unco stunned up briefly, and saw OG try and go for a shatter there, attempted the charge. He's doing a lot of damage in that form, but he needs to get to his target. He needs to connect. Fate on the payload here. A lot of ultimates used. No real casualties, but a big bionic grenade from Unco now. Going to make the Valiant sweat a little bit more. They go for the Graviton Surge. They try and catch OG, but Space is the one that gets kicked out of his mech, and now the crackback is good from Dallas. The Graviton, well, that's going to leave a mark.
The Valiant use their self-destruct on the cart while they have Graviton Surge. With so much open space on Junkertown, why would you not want to use that combo? Like, you could have, you know, the Brigades or the Lucio come from so many angles. The area is so open that there's such a good chance you're going to connect with the player. The Fuel end up comboing those two ults at the end. The fight's already over, but Note's able to connect with one. And another one in the Bunny Blaster mode. But still, I think you got to use those combos better. Zachary way out of position here.
Gets caught there. Kareev again gets the finish off. OG trying to go for a shatter, but again, in desperation, rarely do you see big shatters come off. Kareev has all this room to work on the right side here and just to send orbs one after another. And with Note getting desuited, Dallas's capacity to mitigate damage is severely hampered. And there it is. Unco will fall Note down. And the Los Angeles Valiant will get to that first checkpoint.
You know, put Kareev in. He's able to do some damage on Zenyatta as he's got Transcendence to work with moving forward. Unco going to try and match that level of damage, right, with the Discord Hordes, just how much damage Zen can put down. At this point in the game, you want to try and match that. You can't really kind of, once you have control here for the Valiant, you control the high ground. So you really can't access it as Ana. It would have been difficult to push all the way through here.
Kareev's come off the bench heated, Matt. He's currently got 40% of the Valiant's final blows so far in this round, and that's Zenyatta looking to make a difference. Too late for a W in the series, but perhaps a map win. AKM doesn't want to throw this grab thoughtlessly right now, because Space will absolutely cancel that with Defense Matrix. A lot of lasers, a lot of shots being traded here. The Valiant have got a lot of ultimates to work with. They finally let the Graviton Surge go. Note is caught up in it there, but the Fuel can keep him alive. AKM, though, caught out by that self-destruct. Interesting positioning there. OG not able to protect the Zarya, which, again, that's going to hurt.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you end up using the combo in this type of manner. And OG gets taken out here as well. This is not looking good for the Fuel, as the Valiant putting a much better showing on here on Junkertown.
Yeah, we know Junkertown is a map that can be harder to defend, and especially when an attacking team builds up momentum, they've become very hard to stop. To their credit, Fuel have banked a few important ultimates here that might allow them to stabilize, but this will be another checkpoint right here for the Valiant and a time extension.
Yeah, you see a closer actually ends up using the sound barrier in the last fight. Nobody connects with it. Probably got stunned out of that there by agility, so you get absolutely nothing from that sound barrier.
Again, AKM needs to build up some charge here, Matt. He needs to try and put OG in a position where the Valiant are guaranteed to damage him so he can farm some energy off of his main tank. Jana comes in here, Fate goes for it, doesn't connect with anyone, and if you might have an opportunity to push forward here, it's going to be a Transcendence to save this and crash it up, but that is a big Earth Shatter again. OG connects, but AKM is grabbed, gets neutralized by Space. He held onto it for so long and it's still amounted to very little. Space now diving into the melee, a Graviton Surge laid down with the Los Angeles Valiant. Space is left, but Presence, he gets closer. And now it's going to be OG very low on health, charging desperately, but he gets cleaned off by Fate, and now it's just Notes. He'll be removed and that payload will continue.
If you're a Valiant fan, you probably wonder where was this Valiant the entire series up until this point, as you know, the payload keeps moving. You gain some momentum, the crowd gets a little bit quieter, it's a little bit easier to play here if you're the Valiant. As Custa's got a sound barrier, we'll see if Fate can hit a shatter, as I think in the Battle of the Reinhardt, it's really been OG that's gotten the better of him today.
Absolutely, in the first 3 maps at the very least. This has looked better.
Yeah.
Rally from Zachary straight away, but he's knocked to the ground. Big shatter. That's going to be 3 knocked down by Fate, and the Valiant will just keep pushing on. Now, sound barrier just to smooth any of the wrinkles as they try and push towards the end of this map. With AKM getting caught way out of position, and Note trying to play from the high ground behind with like no health. He gets caught out, and that was a quick attack from the Valiant. That is what we call in Overwatch terms a snowball. They get a good start, and they maintain the momentum to the end of the map.
Yeah, they're able to keep it going and snowball this one in their favor without running something like a Bastion, where it's pretty easy to snowball. You get the Bastion set up on the cart, so really good offense from the Valiant, completing the map in 2 minutes and 15 seconds left in the bank. I think if you're Dallas, what do you decide to do on offense? Do you run something like a Bastion, Baptiste, like a keep the Bastion on the cart, keep it going? Or?
I think you keep the hijinks for overtime. You know, if you're Dallas, you assume, okay, well look, we're playing very good in the neutral game, right? We're playing, 3 tanks, 3 supports. We're looking good. We're sort of beating him on most maps. It's more likely they go with something like that. Or there is the outside chance then, of course, with the series kind of locked up. Maybe they go for something a bit different. How much does this map mean to them in the grand scheme of things? I think they'd love to hear this crowd cheer loudly for the Dallas Fuel once more today, at least. Yeah. Come on. I demand more! Man, it's so fun out here. I'm loving it. Okay, so the Fuel... Oh, give me that spice. OG's not going to play Pharah, come on.
No, this isn't Bumper, yeah.
Oh, man.
So you see why they probably bring in Kareev here. It's really for the defensive side, so he can play the Roadhog here. So you can play Orisa Hog with D.Va, so you're going to run 3 tanks, Custa as a solo support. With KSF playing that Widow at range. Well, you could run like something like a double sniper on offense if you're the Dallas Fuel. I think it really depends what they see come out.
I don't know about that one. Debated!
Yep. I mean, look, you thought they were going to run like a solo tour. You haven't been paying attention.
Oh, the double debate! AKM on the Widowmaker here. Double sniper from the Dallas Fuel.
And Agilities was on Sombra, and he actually probably has the translocator all the way back in the spawn, so as soon as he sees the changes that come from the Fuel, he translocates out and then switches things up, goes over to play Hanzo. So you're going to get double sniper, Orisa Hog setups from both sides.
Zachary trying to just lean into the shield of Fate a little bit more. Whoa. Get rid of it. Big knock up, though. Fate goes skyward. Again, just arrows into the shield. His job is pretty straightforward. He's the demolition crew for now. Oh, there it is, though. Fate going down early. No more shielding for the Valiant. Where do they hide? Answer, absolutely nowhere. AKM picks KS off downrange. Yeah, there's no way for the Valiant to get out here. The Dallas Fuel double sniper composition looks pretty darn good.
And I'm surprised if you're the Valiant that you opt into this. Like, you just beat them running 3-3 mirror. If you would have came out running, triple tank, triple support, they probably would have ran it as well. But you opt to play the damage dealers, which I think, AKM, best Widowmaker in the lobby right now. Kareev, maybe the second best one in the lobby. Zachary's pretty good on the hero too.
KSF has shown us some moments, but that was definitely not one of them.
But I think you would have had the advantage if you're the Valiant, you know, at least with how we saw the first half go in the triple tank, triple support. So the Dragon Strike used here by Zachary, going to put down a ton of damage. Doesn't result in any eliminations, though.
KSF, Fate, and Kariva all laid low. This will slow the Valiant down. If they were looking to try and fight here, that might have been taken off the table. Nice little movement there from Space to flick up to the high ground and do what they can, but more importantly, the Valiant have lost their main tank. They absolutely need to make up for his absence. And Unco, he might be getting a little bit hungry here, but he's caught out. Kariva 3. Nasty.
Yeah, no changes will come for the Dallas Fuel. They won't stay on this, and you'll probably see Unco maybe even give up this whole hog. Yep, go over to Zenyatta, so you don't really value the ultimate that much.
Kariva's insane. 9 final blows for him.
He's had himself a really nice final map. I mean, to come in, especially like you come in cold, like you can't really recreate like a game in the back. I mean, you can warm up a bit against some bots, but
it ain't the same, fam.
No, especially when the other team's running the same 6 guys the whole time.
Custer generally leading from the rear here. He's trying to make sure no one's flanking. He's saying if there's a Sombra pick, we need to be ready for it. But the Fuel do burst forward from behind the Los Angeles Valiant. That self-destruct is perfect. It catches Custer out. Now Fate was trying to push into that small corridor against entirely the Fuel, but that would be a fool's errand for him. Very dangerous to do so. Even as Winston, he'd take too much damage, more than he could handle. Look at this, Zachary getting in front of his main tank. He tried to save OG with the shield, but the blast must have come forth from under that shield, and OG's down.
I tell you what, though, it's not a bad fight for Dallas. In a fight where you really didn't have like a great shot coming in, you just changed up pretty much your entire comp. You come in, you build some ultimates, you get out, you know, 2 or 3 ultimates from the other side. It's about as good as of a scenario you can get there for the Dallas Fuel. Is that Fate's going to be a little bit late to get back as he switched over to Reinhardt now.
See if the Fuel can lean into that one. Not a lot of offensive ultimates for Dallas. The rally will help them come forward a bit. In terms of support ultimates, they're pretty well sorted there. It's a matter of Dallas trying to gain some ground here without taking too much damage. Keep an eye on his health bars towards the top of your screen. Both Zenyatas here will be more than happy to use Transcendence should it be required. Closer took a big hit just there. Space has seen better days, and a bit of a war of attrition to begin this fight now as these teams start to get a bit itchy on the trigger finger.
It's with AKM, when he builds up this grab, does he decide to throw it up to the high ground? Don't really have a ton of follow-up. Dallas would like them to drop and then use the grab.
Okay, early Transcendence here coming out from Kareev. He throws it straight on in. Unco did the same thing. Both Zenyatas using ultimates, but there it is! OG with the charge! Secures a player advantage, but will that be enough? It looks like that's the case. Fate also goes down, and Zachary flies in his face with the Mesa swinging. And Kareev, the menace so far in this map for the Fuel, has been removed. And AKM, it's a Graviton Surge, and he gets to save for later. That's going to be a huge boon for the Fuel. They lost a bit of time getting slowed down, but now they're going to get that second checkpoint, and once more we'll be into the last phase of the map.
In the Fuel, they want them to drop low, right? And they don't even really have to force any action. Agility's pushes so far up, he gets so low. They have to drop and use Transcendence to keep him alive, and they don't even do so. OG pins him. I think you don't even have to use your Graviton Surge, so now you have the grab to use here for AKM. In this next fight is, Brigitte, we talk about how you always have to be in position. Right there, Agility's way too far out.
Stunned up briefly, but AKM's kept alive by the healing there. Goes the Graviton Surge, they lay it down. Self-destruct from both teams, but no, gets one better. Is there enough from Space? It's 2. That may be enough here, but the Valiant still need to take safe positions as they back away. The Fuel have the player advantage, especially now with KSF falling late in the fight. Discord orb on Custer, making it very hard for him to survive those orbs. And a Transcendence for Unco, Shatter for OG as the Fuel push on.
I mean, you can stall this out at the end for a very long time, though, if you're the Valiant, but the Fuel rounding the corner. The Valiant will probably end up with a better time bank here. They're both going to have Shatter, both going to have Transcendence.
Looks like they'll be about even on time, mate. There's no way the Dallas Fuel could finish this round ahead. But getting it done is all they need. That's when stuff gets weird, once we get into overtime. That's where the special strategies start to get brought out. Shatter, OG was ahead of that one. At least he was in the air, but the rest of his team not faring nearly as well. Transcendence now from Unco and OG. Maybe he is the one that ended here. Oh, Fate was knocked out of the way. The Shatter is good. KSF stand up. They need to get rid of that source of damage to the Zarya as quickly as they can, but it's Fate who tries to put his life on the line for his team. And he is cut short as he tries to charge forward. Space over the payload. Gets desuited now. Rallies from both sides. Dallas trying to end this one. 1 minute 40 left in the time bank for them. And Custer's going to go for the sound barrier here. Graviton Surge to catch the Lucio up. but one from the Valiant as well will tie the fuel together, but they're too durable, Matt. They've got too much extra health. It's going to be time for the wrecking ball on the point. Fate trying to stall things out. The self-destruct will make some space. And the fuel managed to finish the map as well, which means on Junkertown, we get extra innings. More Overwatch, ladies and gentlemen, as the Valiant with an extra time bank will try and get themselves a map win here. We'll see in just a moment for that. Healthy time banks for both sides, but the Los Angeles Valiant lead in that regard. 2 minutes and 15 in their bank, 1 minute and 26 seconds in Dallas's time bank, which means that Dallas might have to attack first.
Yeah, but I think this gives the opportunity for the Dallas Fuel to potentially run something like a Bastion on offense if they would have liked. His agility is still hovering this Sombra, so he's probably going to see what they're going to decide to run, and then go back to the spawn and swap over. But towards the end of that map, really liked when you were able to get the payload towards the end. They have to play the cart. Unco's able to just sit in the back. They are undefeated at home. Yep.
Thank you, Captain Planet, for a very important stat.
We're taking stats to another level.
I like it.
It's, every day we get more creative.
Double sniper here for the Dallas Fuel, and the Valiant also mirroring this composition. Reinhardt's moving them at home. Orisa is the play here. The Roadhogs for a lot of shield pressure, so keep an eye on Unco and Kareev as they'll look to not only get picks, but just to bowl over any sort of defensive architecture the enemy team tries to put up. Unco gets hooked in. But you like to be here as AKM. Got a lot of space, a lot of room to work, but that might not be the case for much longer. With Zachary getting picked off, Dallas are down to one sniper. And AKM has to get creative, but Fate is missing the main tank for the Valiant down. Custer would like to try and resurrect that kill, but it's not really safe to try and do so. Agility's could be in deep trouble here. He's trying to hop, skip, and jump away, but Unco catches him with a scrap ball. And he ain't Iron Man. There's no way he's keeping that shrapnel away from vital organs.
So Custer's going to use Valkyrie here. Is AKM trying to land those shots up top. You're going to see the Wrecking Ball come out from Fate. As a Valiant, they do not want to allow this progress to come through.
This is big. There's a resurrect here on space. At least get him back in the mech, but KSF's now been taken down. AKM going for some more close quarters approach than what we normally expect from a sniper. But hey, it does the job. Dallas Fuel get all their eggs on the payload basket, and they'll get themselves that first checkpoint. That is so big in an overtime scenario. But now, if the Dallas Fuel leave the payload, their attacking round will be over. They cannot move.
And you probably think Dallas, potentially would go back to the spawn and make some changes, but you have way too many ultimates to give this up. As you're going to use the Infra Sight to gain all this vision, allow Zachary to land a really nice Dragon Strike here.
I mean, a supercharged Whole Hog could be very big against a not very mobile defending composition from the Valiant. They switch back to the 3-beam. Kareev! Headshot on AKM from downrange. Now Zachary's going to have to go for the Dragon Strike and make some space. Clear the Valiant off the payload so the Fuel can keep overtime ticking down. Here comes a supercharger. No trying to push forward, but Kareev has a lot of space and looking very comfortable there. Fate takes a huge amount of damage, but is able to jump out of the fight and get some healing. But the Fuel are not being moved right now. Eventually the Valiant need to push in, close this trap. Unco's hook does not connect. The Valiant playing safe.
The cart is still moving though. They have not pushed up to the payload. It'll be a self-destruct from both teams. Another Dragon Strike that comes here from Zachary, connects with Custa.
OG just gets the touch in time. Dragon Strike, pretty big to get rid of Custa there. The Valiant trying to push him on the payload, but extended into the damage of that has Hanzo ultimate. Zachary now always beset on all sides. Not much to be done there. But with only a minute and 26 seconds left, the Dallas Fuel should not be disappointed with that distance in overtime. Now they need to make sure the Valiant don't get as far if they want that clean 4-0.
No, I mean, pretty good progress there for the Dallas Fuel. With 2 minutes and 15 here for the Valiant. You're looking at like 2 first-point defenses for Dallas would be good enough to put it away, where the cart does end up like lingering for a while. You have some long fights here on Junkertown, really open. So the fans want it.
Crowd definitely looking for a clean sweep here. I think it's safe to say that that is how the Dallas Fuel would like to begin their time at home.
And Dallas Fuel's like, hey, can we play all our games at home?
Oh, yo, Blizzard Arena, how about you move that thing down here? We got tons of space. Weather's decent too, I won't lie.
So some bad memories at the Blizzard Arena for the Dallas Fuel. We gotta get over here, feeling real good, right?
That's right.
Start things off right. See what they decide to do. You play close. You know, you win that first fight. It really puts the Valiant behind the 8-ball here. Kariv may be going, if they play close, maybe going for like a biotic grenade over the top, catch them off guard.
That'll be a big problem for the Dallas Fuel. They do not want to lose that first fight in such a one-sided fashion. So Kariv on the Zed. Unco is on the Ana though. Looking to shut down healing, potentially neutralize transcendences that will come later on.
They've also been doing a nice job of baiting in some aggression from the Valiant onto OG, and then giving him the healing with the nano boost, and then letting him push on through.
Keep an eye on those ultimates. They'll be very important in lieu of any big picks that occur at the start of this fight. Halfway to a nano boost here, and OG just wants to be flung headfirst into his opposition. Be waiting on that ultimate to be available here. Biotic grenade thrown down. Fade actually caught by that when he tries to play a little bit aggressively on the high ground, and you can see that Unco is looking to try and get some healing there. Zachary giving the repair pack. Dallas are playing this very patiently. Those are KSFs a little bit low on health here. Unco connected with a sleep dart onto what space to the Dallas Fuel. Look to try and capitalize now on the absence of the enemy Diva. You better believe they do. KSF is down. No Diva to stop the projectile damage, and over the edge is Fate.
Look at the positioning they've forced.
That is a gut shot to the Los Angeles Valiant. They really needed to build some momentum, but the Fuel stopped them dead in their tracks early, and there's 1 minute left for the Valiant to get to where the Fuel got to at least take this map.
And the nano boost on OG gives him a big advantage in terms of Earth Shatter build-up. Transcendence here already for Kariv. You're going to have both Brigitas getting rally. AKM with this grab, though. Can you get good value with your grab?
Look, he's trying to get rid of space.
Yep.
He's trying to make sure that this doesn't get eaten. Space flies in, expecting AKM to try and go for the grab there, but patience is a virtue, and AKM making sure to channel that right now. You see, this means plenty to Dallas to get this 4-0. The Valiant is struggling to take some dignity away from this match. Big fire strike catches 3 there. The Valiant again slowed down. They're getting to a lot of ultimates, so this fight, it's about to get messy. Here it is. Transcendence coming out for the Valiant early in the fight.
And they get back out here, the Dallas Fuel. They decide to use their grab. It'll be, a big kill there, taking out Zachary. OG falls as well. The Custa sound barrier keeping the Valiant all topped up.
That is what the Los Angeles Valiant needed. Try and eke out some sort of advantage. The self-destruct was a good way to start the fight off here, and this will mean the Los Angeles Valiant have a shot at getting a map in this series. The Dallas Fuel now, no huge changes.
Key word, they have a shot. It's not looking good, though. You got the sound barrier still available for Dallas and Shatter, so you held on to those 2 ultimates. Nothing for the Valiant. They're going to have to do this with no ultimates. You're going to have to see them survive the sound barrier, all that extra HP and shielding here. And they have to block this OG Shatter. They have not been able to do that all day, really.
It's about OG right now. He's looking for an opening here to hit that big Shatter, but his shield is low. He might have to go for it one way or another. He tries to go for it. No real connection. Fate is taken down, though. The biggest piece is taken off the chessboard. Another Dallas Fuel are trying to end the game. Kieran now. The Valiant have 5 players, but their spawn is quite close by. Reinforcements can arrive if they can survive long enough, but I don't think that's going to be possible. Kariv goes down first, then Agilities falls. KSF out of the mix. A fire strike attempt from Faith. He's returned, but he's all alone in enemy territory. No home fans here in Texas for the Valiant, and the Dallas Fuel have done it. A 4-0 victory in their first home game. For so many of these fans, it's been a long time coming, watching their favorite team on the television or on the computer and just waiting for their chance to support them in person. Must mean a heck of a lot for not only the team, but the fans, and also the organization of the Dallas Fuel to get a little bit of catharsis here. And as a team who's often battled against tough opposition, looking still for those huge results, looking still for glory in the Overwatch League, this is an important reminder for them about all the people that are behind them.
I mean, this is a monster win for the Dallas Fuel. I mean, doing it in front of the home fans probably feels like 3 or 4 wins, right? How hype the crowd is, but I think you get this first win at home. You go back, you rest up, you got a big game tomorrow against Houston. The crowd's gonna be pretty crazy for that one. A lot of Houston fans made their way down here as well. But still, you know, you get that first win at home, has to feel great for the players, Astro, the rest of the organization as well.
A lot of hours put in behind the scenes, and the Fuel can soak it up, at least just for tonight. But when the sun comes up tomorrow, it'll be nose to the grindstone and back to work for another important game. Remember, the Dallas Fuel are not guaranteed for Stage 2 playoffs yet. They're definitely not guaranteed for season playoffs. No one is. Tons of work still needs to be done, and tomorrow's match against the Outlaws, although they might be struggling, they still need to secure that win. Let's head now over to the stage with Danny and a very special group of guests.
Mitch and Matt, thank you very much. What is up, everybody? I am here joined by the one and only, handsome, good-looking, fierce, main take of the Dallas Fuel, OG. Congratulations. Congratulations on the win, brother. Now, this was your very first time playing in front of your home crowd. How much of a difference did this big crowd make for you, and how did it feel? 자, 오늘 처음으로 달라스 홈구장에서 경기를 하게 됐는데 또 이기게 되셨습니다. 좀 소감 말씀과 또 이 홈 팬들과 같이 이렇게 경기를 보고 또 즐겨주신 분들께 좀 얼마나 좀 LA보다 좀 차이점이 얼마나 있는지 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
일단은 저희 관중들 앞에서 하니까 일단 다른 거 모르겠고 일단 분위기 기세를 잡아가는 그 능력만큼 저희가 어드밴티지 가져갈 수 있는 것 같고 LA와 다른 점은 그냥 저희 팬들이 더 낫다는 거.
Okay, so first thing, playing in front of our fans, Dallas fans, it was really easy to ride the momentum and take the win today. Compared to playing in LA though, I feel like I have only one thing to say, our fans were just a lot better than LA. Alrighty, everybody, OG, tomorrow, battle for Texas. Up until now, Dallas Fuel has never beaten Houston Outlaws. OG, how confident are you that you could beat them tomorrow? And actually, before you answer, let me ask it to the fans. Fuel fans, if you think Dallas Fuel can win tomorrow, make some noise! They seem very confident. They seem very confident. OG, how about you? How confident are you? 내일 텍사스 경기 어떻게 될 것 같나요?
일단 100%로 이길 것 같고 일단 그 랭크만 봐도 일단은 0승 4패인 걸로 알고 있는데 그냥 뭐 말할 것도 없이 이미 증명됐기 때문에 너무 쉬울 것 같아요.
We're 100% gonna win because I think for the record right now, Houston has 0 wins and 4 losses, so we're definitely winning. Thank you so much, OGE. Everybody, give it up for Dallas Fuel one more time. Thank you guys so much. Mitch and Matt, back to you.
Thank you, Danny. And yes, a lot on the line in tomorrow's battle for Texas. But for now, here are your Stage 2 standings. And the Fuel have snuck into the playoff berth. That's right. Okay. As things stand, they have a crack at the Stage 2 playoffs.
Hey, I mean, you know, they go back, they look at the standings. They probably really want that Houston win tomorrow, right? You get that win, you climb even further up. You can solidify potentially a spot in the Stage 2 playoffs.
That's right. Stage 2 and then the season. That is where their thoughts need to be right now. And so far, so good. At least, you know, they know there is a huge fan base behind them here in Texas, but there's definitely some things to be worked on for them now. Los Angeles Valiant are a team definitely with some struggles of their own currently. Dallas Fuel definitely have a big boost tomorrow. The team in the Houston Outlaws, you can never count them out. Today was tough for them, but both teams now will be putting extra effort into that match. Speaking of a player who put a huge amount of effort into this match, here's your Open by HB player of the match. It's your boy, the one and the only OG.
I mean,
what a performance from this man.
He was so good all series long. I feel like every time they needed a play, he was the one to make it. The huge Earth Shatters, also blocking a lot of Fate Shatters. You know, the one time on Anubis, you know, being able to block the self-destruct, use a Shatter as well, turn the tide in their favor. The big Primal Rages. As a Stage 2 has been his best showing, I feel like, as a player in the Overwatch League, without a doubt. OG definitely on the rise as a main tank player.
Yeah, really noticeable in the last couple of weeks. People started to realize, wait a minute, OG's having a far greater impact in fights won by his team, in a lot of important clutch moments than he had in the past. You can see the stat card is a very good demonstration of that here. For only 14 deaths over the course of the series for a player that likes to be very aggressive. He's got his team behind, and the peel is very good, but OG was looked on to be the playmaker, and he was a big part, especially of that titanic Eichenwald hold.
Yeah, and I think Unko had himself a very good series on the Ana and Zenyatta as well. A lot of those nano boosts go on to OG, being able to keep him alive.
Extended coverage of today's matches is coming up later on ESPN2, 7 p.m. CT. We hope to see you guys there, but until then, we'll catch you later.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.